Hey guys, it's Jennifer from Breakthrough Maths and welcome to this video on how to calculate compound interest. So before we start, I'm just going to go through this screenshot which was taken directly from the log tables. So we can see there's four different formulae here. There's compound interest, present value, and then there's two depreciation formula. So what we will do first of all is go through each of them and I'll explain what they mean. So starting off from the bottom with these two depreciation formula. So depreciation is only going to be used in questions if you're dealing with something like cars, for example. So if you have a car and you buy it in a garage, if you go to sell it a year later, you won't be able to get the same amount of money for it because it has lost value. So things like cars and bikes, they depreciate in value. But if we're talking about savings, for example, and money, that is going to appreciate in value. Because if you're putting it into the bank, it's going to be earning interest. So it's going up and up in value as you're saving it there. It will never depreciate in value. So when you see depreciation, think of cars and motorbikes and things like that. Okay, now when we come to compound interest and present value. Compound interest and present value formulas are basically the exact same thing, only reshuffled. So how you decide between which one you're going to use is you need to decide whether you're trying to find f, which is down as the final value, or p, which is the principal or the present value. So there's two different meanings for p. So once you decide what it is you're looking for, that dictates what formula you are going to be using. So let's say, for example, you're given the present value and you need to find the final value. You know you're going to be using compound interest formula. But if you realize you're trying to find the present value, but you are given what the final value was, then you are going to be using the present value formula. And then to explain what I and T are in these formulas, I stands for interest and T is going to be time. So one thing to look out for with time is if your question is talking about years. So let's say someone paid something 3 years ago and they want to know what it's worth now, and interest is also in terms of years, then you are going to be doing it in terms of years. So 3 years, for example. But if everything is in terms of months, then you treat it as months. And if it's 3 months, for example, like we'll see in this question, you just put it to the power of 3, not 3 over 12. So if everything is given in months already, you don't need to put it over 12. It's just assumed that that's how we're dealing with it. Okay, so as we'll see in this question here, we are going to be dealing with either compound interest or present value because we aren't dealing with depreciation. We aren't dealing with a car or anything like that. So we're going to have to decide between using the compound interest formula or the present value formula. So we'll go through the question. So we're told Katie got a credit card bill 3 months ago for €420. The interest rate on her credit card is 2% per month compounded monthly. She has not paid off any of her bill. We have to work out what her bill is now, giving the answer in euro correct to the nearest cent. So to the nearest cent just means to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we can see her credit card bill 3 months ago was 420. We want to know what it is now. So think of it as a timeline. This was 3 months ago, and now we want to know what it's worth now. We're also given the interest rate. So I is going to be 2%. So we've converted to decimal. That's really important. We always convert the percentages to decimals. So the interest is 0.02. So we just divide 2 by 100. And we're told it's per month compounded monthly. So that's great. We don't have to do any conversions there. And we can see since it's saying her credit card bill was 3 months ago, and because interest is also in terms of months, that means our time is going to be in terms of months. So it's going to be 3 months ago. Okay, now we have to decide, is that 420 that we're given, is that the present value or the future value? So we can think of P as the starting value and F as the final value. So we were given the starting value here of P, and we want to know what that final value is after 3 months. So we need to find F. So we know our P is 420, and if we want to find F, we need to pick the formula that has F at the start. So it's going to be the compound interest formula, which is F is equal to P by 1 plus I to the power of T. And then we just fill it in with our information that we've gathered. So f is going to be equal to 420 bracket 1 plus our interest, which remember we have to convert to decimal form, 0.02, and time is going to be in months, so 3, not 3 over 12 because everything is in months already, so we don't need to convert it. Okay, when you put that into your calculator then, you'll have 420 open bracket 1 plus 0.02 to the power of 3, and you will get the final value is going to be in euro to the nearest cent, which means to 2 decimal places, 445.71 euro.